So everyone's talking about why AI uses so much energy. In a previous video, I talked about this idea of chain of drafts, a new reasoning technique that agentic LLM-based systems employ to reduce the amount of significant reasoning steps that they need to do before their final answer. Chain of drafts is like simplifying that or having jot notes. In short, we all know that AI and more specifically LLMs have advanced at what feels like breakneck speeds. More recently, it has been able to take significant leaps through its ability to reason. An LLM reasoning is kind of like you or I reasoning through a task. Here's an example. I asked myself, what are some healthy meals I can eat? In my head, I begin to go through a series of steps. For example, I'll think of what would I consider healthy, followed by what's a meal I ate recently that was considered healthy, followed by how did I feel after that meal, followed by am I tired of that meal, followed by, and you get the point. The reasoning in an LLM does the same thing, except for each thought, it needs to rerun its original computational inference, but with more and more data, the more steps it thinks through. It takes these steps and the output of those steps stacks it on top of each other and then feeds it into the LLM once again. Because we're so used to thinking this way, we don't realize the level of effort that kind of goes into any thought. Cache-Augmented Generation tries to solve some of this by retaining the reasoning engine that newer LLMs rely on, so keeping that thinking process, but cleverly caching some of these substeps. In other words, if an LLM has reasoned through a similar substep in the past, it'll just pull up an answer from the past instead of having to rerun that thinking over and over again. Some of these steps may feel small, but small steps in the right direction will continue to refine these AI systems and make them more efficient as time goes on. It's kind of like recycling, but for AI. How cool is that? See ya.